guys, it's Michael here.
And this is Flahertys on Films, where we discuss films from our totally non-expert point of view.
We're not experts.
We like the opposite.
Dummies.
Dummies. Mm-hmm. And this week we're continuing our countdown of the American Film Institute's Top 100 with Titanic.
Which number is that?
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Okay.
See, didn't I tell you we're not experts?
No,
We're not even great at reading.
Now you get it, audience.
There. All right. You want to give us a little synopsis from IMDb?
Sure. Let's get this a lot closer. A 17-year-old aristocrat falls in love with a kind but poor artist aboard the luxurious, ill-fated RMS Titanic.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Oh
boy.
Oh no. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. Have you seen this film before?
Yes, I have. Have you seen it before?
I saw it 3 times in theaters.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I owned the Titanic soundtrack and then the Back to the Titanic soundtrack, as well as the I Heart Leo novelization.
How do you feel about this movie?
I mean, positive.
All right.
Positively.
Pro overall.
Good film. Mm-hmm. My 13-year-old self thought so.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
As an adult, still great. Just good filmmaking.
Leo did not get less attractive over the years.
Well, I mean, if I'm being 100% honest with you, he looks a bit on the youngish side now.
Yeah.
As I'm getting.
We'll talk about that.
Oh, yes. So what are your initial reactions watching it again recently?
Good. It's another long movie that does not feel its length. I was totally engrossed the whole time. Very exciting, very epic film.
Oh, yeah.
I'm used to its faults, that it's kind of cheesy and kind of hammy at parts, but overall pretty positive.
So I think I want to do something a little different today, and I want to first let's talk about the characters, and then let's just dive into the plot of the film.
Whoa, okay.
So first character, Kate Winslet. We got Rose DeWitt-Decatur.
Oh, that's her name? Okay.
They say it like 8 times.
I wasn't paying attention, I guess.
Okay. What did you think of her as our lead, as our protagonist?
It's her character, not the actress.
I mean, because she's great.
She's great.
Kate Winslet, A+.
Really
fantastic.
Spectacular actress. The character is our only character with depth in the movie.
Right, and still, so James Cameron, he's a bit, simple with his characters. And sometimes I appreciate that. It forwards the story easily. And I think for a guy who doesn't treat women very well in his real life, and for a guy who was a director of very profitable films and in the 90s, he actually does women characters okay.
But it's like the perfect character if you're a teenage girl to be like...
That's me.
Right.
I mean, and I was a precocious redhead, so I'm like, holy shit, this is me exactly.
I will fall in love in a disaster ship, but live.
With Leonardo DiCaprio, this is my life exactly.
I mean, he really nailed it down. You're very capable, but... You do have a lot of options.
Right.
But ultimately,
I'm
you're
also
gonna
not
find
very good at spitting, but if I had someone to teach me, that would be really great.
It is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then let's go to our next character, Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, as you discussed, Kate Winslet, amazing. And a bit of an acting disparity between the two. Because, like,
there's a gap.
Leo gorgeous. Not as good an actor as the lovely Kate Winslet.
Yeah, I thought this time watching the movie, he doesn't look like anything besides a hunky dreamboat. He doesn't look like an artist. He doesn't look like a poor boy. He's just a hot man.
But specifically a late 90s boy band kind of hot.
That's all he is. That's all he looks like.
He is the equivalent of like your manic pixie dream girl. Like he is just there for my 13-year-old self to be like, oh, I'm in love with you forever.
So, in the way this movie is genius.
Right.
In its construction.
Yes.
All the pieces are just perfect.
They're just falling into place.
Yeah. Someone said, oh, he's got to have this depth. No.
He just saves
pretty
her,
eyes.
is pretty, and good at dancing, kind of.
Yeah, well...
Wow.
Yeah. Just, he's pretty. Let's get back to that.
Right.
Back to basics.
But also he can draw.
Yeah. Because he goes around Paris drawing prostitutes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought this movie, like, they're so young. These are little kids.
Right? He's 19. What is he doing?
He does not have this life. That's all made up.
Right. This boy from northern Wisconsin.
Yeah, and there's that scene where he's in a tux talking to all the rich people about what it really means to live. It's like, I just take it one day at a time. Just like, you're 12. Shut up.
You don't know life,
You don't
Jack
know
Dawson.
anything. Fuck off.
But he understands freedom in
Yeah,
a way they
jeez.
never will.
But he's pretty. I mean, he's
Right.
perfect, really.
Right. Speaking of perfect characters, Billy Zane
Really,
as,
again.
as the antagonist.
This movie, I like it more and more as we talk about it because it's perfect.
Oh my God. When they're all
I put the coat on her. Sorry, it's a fun line.
they're all getting on the lifeboats, and Rose is like, "Don't you understand? Half the people are gonna die." And he goes, "Not the better half." And we're like, "Yes."
It's a little like that, but a little more casual. Not the better half.
It's just so great. He's just so evil and unnecessarily evil.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's just like slapping women.
He's got the voice.
and
He's got that smile. He's a perfect character.
beautiful.
He's
also.
3 out of 3 perfect characters so
yes,
far.
Yes. I mean, are there any of the side characters you'd really want to delve into? I mean, we got Fabrizio, the offensive Italian stereotype.
I loved that. That was
Tommy,
also
the
great.
offensive Irish stereotype.
Also great.
Oh, you know, angels be flying out for arse before you get the likes of her. And my favorite line, which I think James Cameron secretly hates Irish people because he's like, "Oh, this was built in Ireland by strong Irish men, so that's how you know it's never going to sink." And it's like, oh, right, because Irish people
This
suck
might
at
be
everything.
a perfect movie, just all around. I'm starting to think about it.
And then we got Victor Garber.
Who's the guy?
Right, he designed the ship, and he's also Irish.
And he has the perfect look about him, elegant, but like has that mournful, like we're gonna die
Right.
face.
Right, and I think he's supposed to be a good guy, but is terribly useless.
Yeah.
Now we're watching this with my husband, who's an engineer, and he's like, "Why isn't he fucking going around trying to make a boat for people?" Like, he designed the ship that totally is sinking.
Why
like,
isn't he getting couch cushions and tying them together and make a little raft for himself?
I think maybe this is why you're not a boat designer.
No, yeah, not. I would sink right away.
right away. Yeah, the mother character was pretty good. Just sort
She
of
was
icy
excellent.
and rich.
She had those icy eyes.
But just a good actress also.
Yeah.
Molly Brown. Always fun to see Kathy Bates palling around being Southern. It's a fun time.
Those are all the characters.
I think that's. I mean, and then there's the nowadays characters, but we don't have to.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah. Oh, but then there's Mr. Ismay, like the financier with the big mustache.
I just remember the mustache. Oh, and there's the henchman, who has a great voice and is a henchman.
For some, who does not give a shit about his own life, but does give a shit about.
I don't know a lot about the
Killing-
1910s, but was henchman a career possibility?
I feel like I hope.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It is.
All right.
It is.
So before we get more into the plot of the film, I mean, we know it's a perfect film.
It is a perfect
AFI
film.
knows it's a perfect film, but I think there are some dissenters. So why don't we go to Amazon and look at these 1-star reviews?
Are there any for this one?
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
There are some.
Okay.
So let's-
Okay.
let's-
I would assume they're all 5, but you're right. This is surprising to
yeah.
me.
So let's, if you want to start us out with a customer.
Okay. Oh, is this whole thing one review?
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. This is one of the best movies of all time. Strong start. This is
Strike.
my interjection. Okay. James Cameron, I'll kill you if you do not release a special edition of this. Like 1,000 knives stabbing you. Leo, a.k.a. Jack Dawson, a customer.
1 star.
1 star.
What is the purpose of this review? Just a threat to James Cameron, 1 star.
My favorite aspect of this is James Cameron looking, man, everyone loves this movie. Go through. Oh, shit. Finds this review. Fuck it. Well, I gotta release it. Shit. So that's good. I like that review.
All right, next one. The customer's named Manic.
Yeah.
Wife loves it, but this is my account. I hate the movie.
Nice. Good revenge.
Yeah, nice.
She's gonna make me do the dishes? Ha, I'll show her. All right, here's what Eric Zemtals
Yeah.
what it has to say. I knew was going to happen already made the movie kind of boring.
Yeah.
Eric, maybe, so don't just put your first draft in as the review.
Right. Maybe
Yeah.
read a little bit, do some editing, get a friend.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy sounds like he's really fun at parties.
Yeah, can't wait.
Buy the Criteria Collection Blu-ray of A Night to Remember if you are a film aficionado. And don't bother with this tripe unless you need to occupy the preteens for 3 hours. Personally, I'd rather watch paint dry.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's a little fancy.
He's fancy.
Okay.
He's got taste.
Somehow he missed that this is a perfect movie.
Right.
He didn't see Leo's dreamy eyes.
I think that was, yeah.
Okay, here we go. It's not a romance. It's horror. All the men died. That is true. As a man, I am very sad about that.
That is in all caps.
Yeah,
Billy Zane didn't die. I think he did. He needs to pay attention to that film. He needs to watch it.
It was
again.
very clear that he lived.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good one from No Pony is the man's name. I don't know why I thought it was a man. Anyway, if I had known this had so much nudity in it, I would not have bought it. I would not play this movie and do not consider it to be a good one for my collection. Would be okay if not for that fact.
There's so much one boob. I think is the sum total of all the nudity. Fuck that.
But
I mean,
what's great is this guy had a response to his review.
yeah. Let's hear it.
I will keep abreast of the situation. It sounds titillating.
Cause boob. I get it.
Yeah. All right. Now we have one more review from Jack Phelps. If you want to read that.
Okay. My stupid friend watched this on Saturday night when he was logged into my Prime account. Jesus, Adam, Titanic by yourself on a Saturday night? Really? Well, we're not going to get better than that.
No. Jesus, Adam. Again, I feel like these people are depending on certain people reading all the Amazon reviews.
James Cameron's reading that one. It's a good film. He can watch whatever he wants.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
Adam, you're good.
Yeah, you just wanted a good cry.
Yeah.
You wanted.
Yeah, they find love.
Oh, that's really nice. All right, so why don't we get a little more information, get a little more background on the film?
It sounds like, well, by what you're saying, that it is. Bam!
Time for Sam.
Hello, Sam. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
This is the portion of the podcast where a researcher comes on and gives us a little info because we do not want to do any research.
Yep.
Because we are lazy assholes.
We found a way to not do that work. Here we go.
So this film has the most Oscar nominations. It's actually tied with two other films, All About Eve.
Can I guess? Oh, she already said.
And
Ben-Hur?
no,
Shit.
Citizen Kane.
you both hate it.
That's
Blade
so
Runner?
many films.
La La Land.
What? What?
It has also the most wins of any Oscar, including it's tied for that as well with two other films.
Just
Is that Ben-Hur?
Ben-Hur
Okay. I knew it was one of them.
and Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Don't ask me why.
oh,
I did know that. I remember that because when we were talking about Ben-Hur, I remember both of those films won for editing, even though those are the longest, most terribly edited films ever.
So 14
Not
nominations.
Titanic.
not Titanic, which is a perfect movie.
14 nominations, 11 wins. So it won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, Best Original Dramatic Score, Best Original Song, Best Sound Effects,
My
Editing.
Heart Will Go On won an Oscar?
Yes, it
course.
did.
All right.
What are you talking about?
I'm
Wait,
sorry.
Kimmy?
I'm sorry.
Which is especially interesting because she only did one take of it. Technically, it's a demo.
Ooh, that's a
She did not like the song.
Can I say that
She didn't like the song?
She did not like it, but she later said it was because the guy who wrote it, James Horner, I think is his name.
Yeah.
She didn't like his singing,
Oh.
so she heard it, was like no, and they're like, well, just do one take of it. So
and
she
then
did
you make it
one,
perfect because you're Celine.
and then it was so good. And James Cameron specifically did not want any songs with lyrics in his movie, but then they played him that, and he's like, okay, that can go in the credits. It's good.
All right, that's fair. Can
So-
I say I must have been 12 or 13 watching the Oscars, and I was horrified that Leonardo DiCaprio did not get a nomination. Now, upon watching this,
Now you're
I
older.
You're okay
get
with
it.
it.
I understand.
There's not a category for eyes.
Right.
The last one that they did win was Best Visual Effects, and the three that they were nominated for but didn't win: Best Actress, Kate Winslet; Best Supporting Actress, Gloria Stewart, who played
The mother?
older;
Oh, she
Rose.
was not great. I didn't think.
Oh, yeah.
and Best Makeup.
Oh, the makeup was really good, though.
It was only nominated, didn't win. This film made the budget for this film was $200 million. To put that in perspective, if the actual Titanic ship was made in 1997, it would have cost between 120 to 150 million. So the movie cost more.
Wow.
They did build half a ship, though, I guess.
I'm loving that. That's a cool fact.
It made in the box office $2.187 billion. It was the first film ever to make $1 billion in the box office.
It was the first to ever make $1 billion, and it made $2 billion.
2.187. Now, technically, if we're being specific, it did make $1 billion, but then the other portion came when they re-released it for the 100th anniversary of the Titanic sinking. So they did put it back out. So that number is a little generous in that sense, but It remained the highest grossing film, though, until 2010 when it was beat out by Avatar.
So James is just...
Yeah,
He's raking in the money.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
A couple other quick facts about this. When it was originally in theaters, Paramount actually had to send out replacement reels to theaters because they became so worn out.
Because I kept going to the...
It was all
was a part
Colleen's
of
fault,
that.
really.
Colleen knows how it ends. Can she just stop?
If you just look at the 1912 scenes, so not any of the present scenes and not including any of the titles or the credits, the film runs exactly 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is how long it took the ship to sink.
Whoa!
And the collision takes 37 seconds, that collision scene, which was approximately the time of the actual...
That is so
That's a really neat
cool.
fact.
Thanks, guys. James Cameron reportedly spoke to each of the individual 150 extras, providing them names and background stories to actual people on the ship.
That's crazy.
I mean, this whole movie started because of his hobby. He is a deep
Good.
sea diver,
Good
and he
segue.
was really into the Titanic, and he felt like it was a movie. So really, this was his own just passion project of like, I want an excuse to be down here more often.
That does seem like the opening scene when they're like down there, it's like, oh, he probably just based this movie off of like, oh, I really want to do more deep sea diving, but I want a studio to pay for it.
Exactly. There's a lot of really cool ad-libs parts from the actors. So, like, Ismay, I think is his name, the white...
financier.
The financier. He ad-libbed that line, Freud, who is he? Is he a passenger on the ship?
Oh.
Which is one of those... and so Kate Winslet did ad-lib the line, this is where we met, at the very end when the ship is sinking and they're at the back of the ship.
I have to say, that seemed a little out of place. Like, they're about to die and think, oh, that's my dad.
Well, you can blame Kate Winslet for
Didn't
that.
get a picture yet. Is it too late?
And then the other thing that she really ad-libbed and was just awesome was at the very end of the film, she's trying to run away and Billy Zane grabs her, and to get out of it, she spits at him, which is a tie back to an earlier scene where Jack is teaching her how to spit correctly. Now, she was supposed to actually jab him with a hairpin, but she decided to spit on him. Instead, to pull it back, no one told Billy Zane.
That's
Like that.
awesome.
I think that's so interesting because it seems so perfect. Like, otherwise it seems like Chekhov spit, right?
Right.
Like, I can't believe they wouldn't have brought that back.
But you could argue that Billy Zane got his revenge because he completely ad-libbed his tantrum after he finds out she went dancing in the lower floors.
Oh, yeah.
They're having breakfast, and he has this huge tantrum, and he flips a table, all ad-libbed,
Whoa.
which is why she looks terrified.
Why isn't Billy in more things? He's amazing. My fiance.
A couple other quick facts. So obviously it's very famous that Rose survived the sinking of the Titanic by floating on wooden paneling. This wooden paneling is actually based on real pieces that were found. Like, that piece actually was found floating, and it's in the Nova Scotia Museum for Maritime. So it's actually a real piece. It was made bigger, though, to make it look more obvious that it could float. And in today, Rose's suite would have cost you $75,000.
Being rich seems awesome.
And because you guys love Leonardo DiCaprio so much, my last fact is there was 2 other people who could have played him.
Yeah.
I know, sad to think about. Johnny Depp said it was his biggest regret that he didn't take it.
Really? I think it would have been a little too weird. Not enough of a cardboard cutout of dreaminess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Christian Bale also was a really high contender, but James Cameron didn't want 2 non-Americans playing Americans. Obviously, Kate Winslet is from England, and Christian Bale.
Reading. That's my husband went to college there, so that's why I know.
And Christian Bale is Welsh, so yeah, they wanted an American, hence Leonardo DiCaprio.
That is really cool.
All
Christian
right.
Bale. Can you imagine Batman doing it? He was pretty hunky then, though, wasn't he?
I don't know.
He was in like
Newsies. He was
Newsies
very
and
hunky.
The Outsiders, and
He wasn't in The Outsiders.
oh, a lot of people with floppy hair were in that film. Anyway,
Anyway, that was BAM.
time for Sam. All right, let's. I mean, I think we've really, really covered it, but let's just do it all over again.
Yeah. I can't get enough of
I
this
just
movie.
can't. All right, let's just kind of go through it. So, opening shot, we got. They have like the scenes, the actual film footage from the scene and the sad music. Lovely. Just lovely. And then
Yeah.
we're deep diving in the ocean again. I feel like that gets a little gratuitous. Like they show all of that, the robot going in and the...
Yeah, I wonder when you saw this, or when people saw this for the first time, and it had like an hour of just like, here's the real shit, and you're like, ugh, is this the movie?
Actually, at the time, I thought it was really cool.
Okay.
But I don't know why. But
Oh no.
all right. But so let's just get right. So yeah, they find this picture. Old lady.
So this movie has a framing device where has the future or the present day
Yeah.
scenes and the Titanic scenes.
Right.
And we start with the present day with the Rose current day, and she's talking to people who are like exploring the Titanic currently.
Bill Paxton, may he rest.
May he rest, yeah.
Yes, I believe he and James Cameron have done quite a few projects together. Yeah, so then he finds his picture. It's the old lady Rose. She's like, okay, sit down, gentlemen. Let me tell you a story. Story's the movie. That's...
So do you like that framing device?
I do.
Yeah.
But I can't defend it if somebody told me they didn't like it.
It is. I like that. It does make the movie feel more. I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm trying to say. Like the movie's kind of like a fairy tale. It's kind of like a.
Yes.
Kind of a dreamy kind of.
It feels grounded.
Right. Yeah. It just contextualizes the movie a bit better.
Right, and I actually appreciate it as a kid. I don't know if I just still love it now, but I love that they explain exactly how the Titanic's going to sink.
Yeah.
So you kind of see exactly what's happening, so they don't have to explain it too much when it's happening.
Totally.
I liked that. Just a really quick computer simulation of exactly what we're about to see was very helpful.
Also, it's very cool for the end. Obviously, we know what happens in this movie, and you would think it's a horrible, sad ending, but in a way, it kind of has this emotional happiness where it ends with her throwing the heart in the diamond, and then she's in Titanic heaven. Like, it almost ends like, aw.
Yeah, right.
Which is the end of the Titanic movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they couldn't do that in any other way.
Right. Although Titanic heaven seems kind of lame. Like, she doesn't get to see her husband that she presumably was married to her whole life. And
We don't know how dreamy his eyes are.
right.
So,
probably not.
Probably
But,
not as, yeah.
All right. So then like Titanic and okay, can I say the other thing I like about the framing device? I actually really like the two compared together, the juxtaposition of like modern day and then like the glamour of the 1912s. And
Oh, totally.
it's like we're having a fun time now.
Also, so she rarely dipped in during the movie, but when she did and said something like, that was the last time the Titanic would see sunlight. That was great. That was like a very short amount of dialogue that really helped the flow of the movie.
Right, because James Cameron, he's not a subtle storyteller, and I'm okay with that. That's what I'm here for.
Right. It's a perfect movie.
Right, of
And
course.
If it was more subtle, it would have been worse.
Right. So we have the dramatic music and the pan of the Titanic, and then Rose comes out of her car looking up from under her hat.
Good shot. Good reveal shot.
And then some of the worst dialogue in the film when Billy Zane comes out is like, not God himself can sink the ship. Like,
this is the ship that cannot sink.
Right.
Which is like when I go on the plane and say, oh, this plane won't crash at all.
right. I mean, you're just asking for it.
Go
at
into
that
my
point.
car. I'm not going to get into an accident today.
Right. I don't mean to victim blame, but
Yeah.
just the dialogue of it is
It's
so
pretty great.
And nothing will impress thee, Rose. God, Billy Zane. Everybody's having a fun time there. They're getting on the gangplank. Cut to the Poors.
The Poors.
The Poors are hanging out.
Playing poker, being scoundrels,
Right.
like they do.
Right, some Swedes and dreamy Leonardo DiCaprio, his offensively Italian friend
Yeah.
Fabrizio.
Yeah, yeah.
They're playing poker. Although the Swedes have to get on a boat right now, but they don't seem to be in a hurry.
Irresponsible behavior.
Right. So they're playing some poker. Jack wins because we're going to America, boys. Like, because we're supposed to believe he's from Wisconsin, I guess. And
I
that's
bought
how
it.
they talk.
I bought it.
And then they rush onto the ship. Oh, gosh, what a fun time. Do you have anything
No, that all happened.
that... oh, right. More hammy dialogue when they're moving into their stateroom and they're like, who is the artist?
Something Picasso. I ruined it for you.
Oh, and then Billy's like, oh, he won't amount to anything.
Wink at the camera.
Right. So Billy is bad at predicting the future.
Did I mention the ship will not sink?
There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah.
Then King of the World happens. Fabrizio does his I'm super Italian. Oh, I can see the Statue of Liberty already. It's very small, of course.
It's adorable.
It's so cute. So cute. One of my favorite scenes is then they're around the dinner party and they're with Bruce Ismay, the mustachioed man who was the He was the poacher in a Jumanji film.
Oh,
Another great
okay.
classic.
Okay.
Yeah. They're talking, and he's like, I just wanted to, convey the sheer size of Titanic. It's why we named it. And then she makes a penis joke.
Good. Yeah.
That
It's
was
very good dialogue. It's a perfect movie.
All right. And then the next scene, Leo's just staring at Rose. That's when he.
Right. Love
That's
at
when
first sight.
Tommy's super Irish. 15,000 Irishmen built the ship. Are you digging my accent? Are you
Yes, very impressive.
yeah, you're like, wow, she's.
I didn't
from
think I need to
Ireland.
say it, but yeah, I'm very blown away.
Then she tries to kill herself. What did you think of her emotional journey? Like her gilded cage stuff.
It's the 1910s. I always go back to, I'm sure people killed themselves. They don't have Xbox. They don't have Facebook. Like, what do they have to live for?
Right.
So, of course, she, tries to kill herself. And what a cool way to do it.
Right, jumping off the back of a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jack brings out his Wisconsin bona fides, and he's like, water's fucking cold, idiot.
Hey, dummy. Look at my eyes. It's cold.
Yeah, and then here's the funny thing. If you've ever met someone from Chippewa Falls, as I have, that is their two claims to fame is they make Leinenkugel's beer and were mentioned in Titanic.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. And then, of course, they have to tell you the fact that the lake they mentioned was made in, 1926, so it was not accurate. So James Cameron had the time to talk to every single extra on set, but not research the history of this lake in Chippewa Falls. So...
The killing yourself is probably good because it does establish the melodrama that's going to happen throughout the whole movie.
That's a good point. And then So then she almost falls. He saves her. Oh boy.
Tension.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So much tension. And then when people come upon them because she's screaming, they're like, oh, clearly he's trying to rape her. Now, that's confusing to me because then there's many things happen. And then they're like, she's finally like, oh, no, I was just looking at propellers. And they're like, oh, okay, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then Billy is like, oh, I'm going to give you some money. And she's like, is that the price for saving your fiancé? And he's like, okay, come to a really uncomfortable dinner party instead.
Food? I mean, that is good. If I was a poor, I would love to have a free fancy dinner.
I suppose, if I were a poor.
If I were poor. This is probably offensive.
But it's olden timey, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Then Billy Zane gives her that big ass necklace. So he's a steel tycoon. He's from Pittsburgh Steel, I think.
Okay.
Is that big money? Is that
I don't know anything.
research?
Research.
Big money.
Big money.
Big money. Thank you, research.
So it did make sense.
Yes.
We thought we found a fault.
Right.
But we did not.
We did not. Then Jack and Rose, they're becoming friends, and that's when they look at the nudie pics.
Oh,
We
yeah.
learn about the prostitutes.
That he draws because he just roams. He's a free spirit. Her hands are beautiful because I see people. You're 11 years old. You don't know anything.
You don't see fucking shit.
You thought tits were cool. That was your real deal.
Oh my god.
Just fine,
Oh, so good. And then there's the scene where the captain is talking to Mr. Ismay, and they're like, let's go super duper fast. And maybe there's icebergs, but it's fine. Because subtle.
And that really happened, right? At some point, they were just like, "Let's go extra fast."
Right.
For no
I
reason?
did actually check with research before this because it seemed. So let's. One of my grand thesis of this is the real story sounds like a bad plot to a movie.
Yeah.
Right. They really called it the unsinkable ship. They really did lose their binoculars. It was the captain's. The captain was retired, came out of retirement to one last journey.
Yeah, a little corny.
It doesn't sound real.
Yeah.
It sounds so bad. So yeah, that's one of those.
So they made the ship go extra fast for no reason.
Right.
Right?
Well,
no
just
reason?
because I know people are impressed by their size, but now I want them impressed by their speed.
There was a lot of dialogue that led up to that, yeah.
Oh yeah. Then he teaches her how to spit. Then they have the dinner party to making it count, where he teaches the riches that hey Richies. Hey there.
You're fucking doing it wrong. Listen to me. I know what's up.
Oh my god.
So that's just irritating. It sucks being older.
Right.
Just watching this movie, it's all different. It's just these little kids. Stop being irritating.
Yes. I like when they go to the real party with the steerage.
That's a good scene.
Yeah, doesn't steerage sound more offensive than the pores?
I don't know what steerage means.
Third class.
Oh, I mean, it sounds fun. I don't know.
Doesn't he say, like, I will go row with the other slaves? I thought that was... They're so cute.
So good dancing, good music, and whoa, she really impressed the dudes with her awesome standing on her tippy toes.
Yeah, it was like, hey, big tough men, tippy toe time.
Check the shit out! And then, yeah.
And everyone was like, wow.
Whoa.
Look at that shit.
We are emasculated.
Yes. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
So then the next scene is when Billy Zane loses his shit, which I love that fact that was improvised because it looks not improvised.
What do you mean by that?
Because the dialogue seems like written to me.
Yeah, I thought it was like framed in the camera. It was a wider shot, so it could capture the destruction. But I guess it was just improvised.
So good. My fiance, if not my wife, if not by practice but by law, you will honor me. It was just like, whoa, Billy.
So why did he have the Heart of the Ocean diamond necklace? Because it's like $1 jillion, right?
I guess, as we confirm with research, big money in steel
He
tycoonery.
just has infinite money, so why
Yeah.
not buy the biggest diamond for no reason?
Right.
Or for his wife, I guess.
Bigger than the Hope Diamond, which is...
But it's like the biggest diamond in the world
yeah, so fuck all y'all.
from steel.
Yeah,
Well, we should get into steel.
right? Then the next scene, the mom is tying her corset as she's like, you gotta marry him because we're out of money.
Yeah.
I thought that was...
Metaphor, tightening her constraints in her life.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I thought that was so well acted between the two women.
And we did get a bit of depth on the mother character.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, we all have to make hard choices, you bitch.
And I'm like kind of siding with her. I don't know if I
Right.
came out of that scene on Rose's side.
Right? It's just like, I guess it's unfair, but Billy's, he's okay looking. So he gets a little abused now and again.
I know you want to fuck Leo, but like our lives. Like think about that for a second.
Yeah.
We all want to fuck Leo.
Like,
That's what the mom should have said.
yeah, you're 17. We get it.
We get it. He's hot. Look at him. I want to fuck him. It's too bad.
I think that was exactly what the dialogue was.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So then, here's my actual favorite scene is when Rose is with some other people and they're walking with the captain and then he gets an iceberg warning while they're walking around.
Sure,
and he's
sure.
like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
No way.
No way. And then she says, I've done the sum in my head, and it appears there are not enough lifeboats for everyone on board. And I'm like, I'm sure you fucking did the math.
But there's no other way those two characters would have had that conversation.
Right.
There's just no way to finagle that scenario.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then Billy Zane like whaps the lifeboat, wasted deck space as it is. In case we forgot how Billy feels about the Titanic's sinkability.
It's great. I kept trying to think of comments, but it's just perfect.
So good. And then Leo, he takes her into the exercise room that exists, and then he's like, that's when he gives the "you jump, I jump, I love you, we're together forever" person I've known for like 6 seconds.
You're the most perfect girl, something like that. You're the most special, amazing.
I know this exact line because it was on the back to the Titanic scene. You're the most amazingly, astounding, wonderful woman that I've ever known. I'm not an idiot. I know how the world works.
They're 10.
But I'm too involved now. You jump, I jump, remember?
They're so just little kids.
I know.
It's realistic.
That is how 17-year-olds would talk about
But
their
I don't.
love.
But I don't like them.
Right.
I mean, they're very pretty.
Right. And then they mac in front of the ship, which I think. So I remember watching the beginning of it. I'm like, they don't actually have great chemistry, but it does work its way up. Like I think by the time they're macking at the front of the ship,
One-sided.
once
She has chemistry with him.
because she's amazing,
Right.
and he's like,
and he's
beautiful.
he's just an object.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And we treat him as such.
He doesn't deserve more than that. Yeah.
And then we go back to modern times. And again, I actually do like their framing device again because then Bill Paxton explains like the rudder's too small to turn the ship. They have the ice warning.
It's really perfect.
Yeah, shit's about to go down. And they're explaining exactly why. And I like that.
That's right. And if they had to explain that while all that shit was going down, that would have been annoying.
Yeah. So then the next, Draw Me Like One of Your French Girls, which is, if you talk to men around my age about Titanic, they're always like, well, I know there's that one scene, ha ha ha. And I'm like, the internet exists. Like, it's one boob. Just get over.
One boob. It's not that exciting.
I mean, some people were very offended on the Amazon board reviews, but
There are too much nudity, yeah.
too much nudity.
James Cameron's reading that. Just one boob. I worked really hard to cover up the other boob. To keep it down. Cut all the nudity in half.
So then the next scene, it's this chase scene with the henchmen that makes no sense because what happens if he catches them?
I got you. Ha!
It's just so we get to like go through the steamy bowels of the ship, I guess, and then they can have sex in a car.
Right. That's what I like about this movie is they really were able to capitalize on the ship sinking in every single way.
Right.
Like, even while the ship is sinking, they found excuses to go down, into the water, into the rooms. They went back up on the deck. They ran around, went back.
Right.
Under
They
the
don't
water.
all have to make sense.
Right. But, I mean, they just exploit every inch of the ship all the time.
James is like, yeah, they're like, oh, we don't actually have to make a boiler room. It's like, we have to fucking make an engine room and a
Yeah.
boiler room and a storage room where the suitcases are. Every single thing is
And
being
we gotta have
recreated.
scenes where our main characters are running through these places for no reason. It just...
But she has that beautiful flowy dress, I remember. Oh, can we just say, I think Kate Winslet is beautiful. Like, Leo's a pretty hottie. She's like just so classically beautiful.
Right.
Like a painting of beauty.
Right. Leo is like a porn site.
Right.
As a human.
And she's like fine art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is a Playboy magazine.
Right. Then we fucking hit an iceberg.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
And
That's bad.
yeah. And apparently done perfectly. Thank you, research. That was intense.
Yeah, it was really well done.
And then Kate's like, oh, I know I just left this naked
Oh,
drawing.
I have a comment. There are just like, I think the movie, technically is amazing, but there are just some parts where I'm like, oh, that computer animation does look a little dated.
Sure.
So like you see the iceberg, I'm like, oh, it's a little bad. But it is, I think when it does hit the ship and then parts of ice fall on the ship, I thought that seemed really well.
Yeah, but the shots of the iceberg you thought were pretty...
Just
I thought
some
those
of
were
it.
models.
Whatever they were, it didn't, for some reason it looked off to me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
But otherwise, technically, this movie is amazing, which I don't even think we've talked about.
Yeah, because we're getting to the next half of it.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
because, I think the technical aspects of most of them have aged pretty well.
Phenomenally, yeah.
Yeah, so now she's like, oh, we got to go warn Billy that the ship is sinking. And then Billy frames Leo for stealing the diamond. Oh, no.
I was just so irritated at that scene because, like, Leo then tries to convince Rose that it wasn't him. He didn't really do it. And his way of convincing her is, don't believe him, Rose. Don't. I didn't do it, Rose. I didn't. I didn't do it. Just like, just calm down. You don't even have an argument.
But I didn't.
You're just saying it a lot. That's not anything.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So that was irritating to me.
And then cut to they're looking at the blueprints, and Victor Garber's like, "This ship's gonna fucking sink." And I think what's weird to me is he explains like how poorly his ship is designed and why it's gonna sink.
Oof, this is just fucked up. Yeah. Who made this?
Oh shit! Now I'm gonna go sulk in the clock room for a while, I guess.
No. Yeah.
Not do something useful like make a boat.
No, yeah, not tie couch cushions together.
No. I feel like couch cushions are not flotation devices.
I mean,
I guess I don't know. I've never.
he didn't even try. Is my point.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Billy Zane is slapping her around a bit.
Sure.
Like, you shouldn't be slapping people, right? You shouldn't be but he does get to be a little angry.
Because his wife is.
Because she left the naked picture for him.
Yeah. Oh, because she's kind of being a snot.
Yeah. And he's like, you're being a little bit of a slut. And I'm like, hey, man, don't use gendered slurs, but kind of.
But there's two sides to this.
Don't slap people. Just the PSA for this podcast.
Yeah.
Don't.
Do not.
But,
not.
also don't pose naked while you're engaged to other people.
Yeah.
I think that's just common courtesy.
But also don't marry 19-year-old women, maybe.
There's a lot of
lessons. It's a perfect movie.
I think she's 17.
In the movie? Oh,
Yeah.
she's 19-year-old, the actress
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
and then she's 17. Yeah, don't marry a 17-year-old ever.
Right.
Don't ever do that.
And then so the henchman is like hanging out with Leo in the bowels of the ship, and he's like, I believe the ship will sink. And he does not give a shit. Like, he's about to die. He's like, I'm just gonna keep being evil. Whatever.
That's good. Again, if he was more afraid, that'd be worse. It'd be a worse movie.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
And then we get the half the people in the ship gonna die. Great. Great stuff.
Yeah, very emotional, very powerful.
And then Kate's gonna go save him. And then there's the axe scene.
Yeah. So another pause here. So this movie is very melodramatic, and I think that makes this whole movie better because it is a disaster movie of a real disaster that really happened. So if all the characters felt like really real characters and just like living their lives, and then this horrible thing happened, maybe you'd come out of the theater feeling like so much worse.
Right.
You know what I mean? It'd be so much darker.
Yes.
But because these are kind of cartoony characters, it doesn't make it.
It's like, I mean, it's still sad, but I'm also kind of having a fun time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You're like, you're wrong for this ride.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some heart plucking. There was some heart plucking.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, oh, this boat's for the mummies and the children. There will be another boat for the daddies. Like, there ain't no fucking daddy boat. I know it. You know it.
So less dark, but also, yeah, it really capitalizes on that emotion more. Because if there's real characters and then that moment happened, you're like, all right, come on.
Right. That's true. Oh, so then there's the scene where Rose gets on the boat because Jack and Billy
my
are.
God.
And she's like watching Leo being beautiful. And
Yeah,
she's
looking
like,
at his eyes.
And she's like, I can't be away from you for 4 hours, I guess.
Yeah. And she jumps off the lifeboat.
Yeah, so no one gets that spot.
Yeah, which is so selfish and so horrible.
Yeah, and then it's like
Oh,
supposed to
my
be
God.
cute when he's like, you're so stupid, Rose.
You're so stupid, Rose. He says Rose a lot.
does.
I'm back there. Rose, you're so stupid, Rose. Rose, come on. Rose, I know where to go, Rose. I'm doing a perfect impression.
You sound exactly
That's
like
exactly what he sounds like. This way, Rose. He's very breathy.
Yeah, so she is a fucking idiot, but I also believe a 17-year-old who like had sex for the first time would act like that.
Yeah.
Especially coming from a repressed society. Like, that tracks for me, actually.
It tracks, but I don't like her.
And then Billy Zane sees their lovely reunion. He's like, you know what I gotta do? Straight up murder them.
They'll drown not fast enough.
No. So,
Also, that's a little painful. A gunshot, that's going to be a faster death.
yeah, right. They're about to die anyway.
This will be a more courteous death to them.
So he chases them back into the bowels of the ship
Again,
with a
to
gun.
capitalize more of the set
sinking.
that they built.
Right, they can't be above deck because James Cameron has spent a shit ton of money on
Yeah.
sinking the ship.
Yeah, we've already seen that. So they got to go back underwater.
Oh my god, so good. And then they try to save this kid in the hallway, and the water unloads on. So that kid's super dead. Research is very uncomfortable with this. She is very sad, reminiscing.
It's a sad moment.
Yeah.
Research has not reminded herself how dreamy Leo's eyes are.
Yeah, that will help her, I
That
think.
will help research.
Then we cut to Tommy the Irishman, who's just like, I don't know, he's trying to save people, but he's also being aggressive, so he gets shot.
He's Irish.
Right. And then, of course, Fabrizio comes, bastardo, because that's the only Italian he actually knows.
Yeah.
Then Billy uses a crying child to get onto a boat.
Great scene. Absolutely fantastic
She's
cinema.
my favorite, we're watching it with David, and he goes on the boat, he's like, please, she's all I have in the world. And David's like, probably.
That's not wrong. He makes a good point.
Right. And then there's that, and then Victor Garber is just like playing with the clock, drinking his sad woes, not building any boats.
He was very cool, though. He was very cool.
Very cool. And then, so the band gets together and they play that super sad song.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have, I think, what is a beautiful tapestry of scenes, right?
We didn't mention how the bassist in that string quartet could have maybe reconstructed his bass into a little boat. We talked about this during the movie, how maybe he could like float in the river or float in the ocean on his little bass boat.
And then
the
snap
music,
off the handle and then...
and they use that as a canoe, and then for some reason you would hear a little bass music as he's rolling on, like dum da dum da dum da dum da dum.
Yes.
Only room for one on this boat. Dum da dum da dum da dum da dum. So that was not in the movie. So
No.
it's not quite a perfect movie.
That would have been pretty great.
That would be good. Looks like you're in trouble, Rose. Dum da dum da dum da dum.
That's a really great bass sound.
That's what they sound like.
So, cut to tonally different part of the conversation. So they're all playing together, not dim sailing away. And then they do like the most gratuitous sad scenes of like people dying and drowning,
It's
but
very
just
sad.
really beautifully shot. Like just the sing, and then like the old couple holding hands, which research tells me is the owner or founder of Macy's and
No,
his
owner.
wife, owner.
Oh, a lot of great cinematography when they shoot the firework off, and it's the one shot where they go super wide, and then it's just a little Titanic out in the huge open ocean.
Really
They're like,
good.
yeah, like
Some
they're
of these-
isolated.
I think sometimes we're being a little funny, but like some of this movie is really good.
No jokes here.
No jokes.
There really should have been a little bassist. Really would have been great.
No.
Look sad. It's cold in that water. He's got this accent that I love.
That's pretty good stuff.
You guys are gonna need a jacket. Sorry, stop.
Okay. So, all right. So we cut to a few scenes. One of the smokestacks breaks and smashes Fabrizio. We're done with him.
He's over.
He's over.
He leaves the movie at that point.
Right. Then the ship goes in half, and then,
Yeah.
so they climb to the back as the rest of the ship is sinking. And Rose like, "This is where we first met. Have fun."
Hey. I remember here.
And then Jack seems to, as a boy from small town Wisconsin, seems to know a lot about the mechanics of a massive ocean liner
Yeah.
sinking. Because he's like, well, you're going to get sucked
Hold
down.
your breath, Rose.
Right. Hold your breath and kick as fast as you can because here's how the suction
It's gonna drag us under, Rose. It's a perfect impression. Go on.
That was very good that she had him there.
Yeah, that is helpful.
Yeah. And then now they're in the water, they get on the boat, and of course everybody hates that scene because they're like, why aren't they both on it? But I don't buy that would save them anyway. That doesn't make sense to me.
Also, it'd be a worse movie.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah.
Then he gives this whole speech about you're gonna grow, you're gonna have babies, never let go of that promise. It's very. I remember when I was 12, I was like sobbing in my theater seat.
I guess because I just knew that part, I was kind of checked out. Like, oh, I know what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gonna freeze to death.
Yeah. What, am I going to be drawn in by Leo's acting at this point? No.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. But then when she does the I'll never let go and like lets him go,
There, yeah.
that was pretty.
Never let go. Yoink. Bye.
See ya.
See ya. Fun while it lasted.
Oh yeah. So then she gets rescued, and again, research informs me that they got rescued pretty quickly after that, like a few hours after that. But the way that it's framed in the movie, like, we're just waiting there, waiting to live, waiting to die, waiting. And I'm like, so are they there for like a week, you know?
Yeah.
But not that long. I mean, it probably seems like a long time. It's pretty inconvenient.
An hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, research just said an hour and 20 minutes they waited for the ship to rescue them. So, and then, so this old lady has been telling this story for a long time.
We're back to the present. We're back to President Rose.
And she's just like listing a bunch of facts about the Titanic.
Which is helpful.
It's very helpful, you know.
And Bill Paxton is like, I fucking know.
Right. Like, we're Titanic experts. It's like 1,500 people went into the water. He's like, I know. This is my life's work, you bitch.
Are you like mansplaining me right now? Didn't think that was possible.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's
And then my heart will go on.
Well, yeah. I mean, then she sees the Statue of Liberty. She's like, oh, fuck, I have this big-ass diamond. And I'm
there's
super
some.
poor and don't sell it for some reason.
That is very strange.
And now I'm Rose Dawson, and now I'm gonna have a really fulfilling life. So fuck all those 1,500
Oh, right.
people
And then
who died.
that's like the theme of this movie is
I
like, you
guess.
should live on. You know, fuck around a little bit, but then like live your own life. I don't
guess. Like, yeah, personal tragedies or like personal journeys are more important than
That is
massive
weird.
tragedies.
That's like the movie. Like, yeah, bad things happen, sure. The Titanics will sink.
Right.
But move on.
Yeah, but, live your life.
Your heart will go on. Have a fulfilling life. Go do other things.
Yeah.
Go see a movie.
That's good advice.
This movie.
So
I guess it is good
yeah,
advice.
throws away the diamond. And then you pointed out in that final scene when they're all clapping, and then the captain's the last one to clap.
I've heard that before, yeah.
Oh.
I didn't make...
I thought that was an astute observation on your part.
No.
Oh, that would have been cooler.
I'm sorry.
All right, and then, and that's the end of it. And then They're hanging out in Titanic heaven.
Well, we know that this is a perfect movie. Nothing wrong with it. And John, our brother, would agree with us. But let's just double.
Let's make absolutely certain.
We gotta really pressure him on this because he better be on our side. Call brother John.
I know. Is he abroad?
Oh yeah. Wait, he warned us like not to call him, right?
That's fine.
Because like they're sleeping right now. What's the time difference?
7 hours?
So it's like. Well,
Well, all right.
whatever. Too bad for him. He loves it. That's the conclusion.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Quote from John: "Titanic is my favorite movie of all time, and Leo is still."
Leo's beautiful. That's quote John.
Quote John. All right. Would this go in your personal top AFI?
Yeah.
I think absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
even if we're just talking about cultural impact.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good film. It's a great, very epic,
I like it.
very well done film.
Let's give it a grade.
A+.
A+.
Yeah, you too?
I mean, so like there are some flaws. There's some dialogue that's so cheesy, but like as a product, I think it's really good. And I think that because it was like so popular with my demographic at the time, the young girls, that people don't really give it its due or like it was too overhyped. But there like some things about this are really, really good.
No, my A+ is serious. Yeah, the characters are one-dimensional, and there are flaws like that, but I think those contribute to a cohesive whole.
Right. Like, I don't want more in-depth characters.
Exactly.
Like, that would interfere. I actually just love the dialogue so much.
And Billy Zane is great.
Billy Zane needs to be in more things.
Yeah.
Why is he not just the most famous actor of all time?
I do not know.
We'll get to the bottom of that, but that's for another week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for Flahertys on Films. This week, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Denny's.
No joke. Great establishment. Cheap meal. What did my meal cost? My eggs. It was like $4.
$4, folks.
For eggs, sausage,
And pancakes.
And the waitress was super nice, and that's everywhere.
Yeah.
All the waiters are really nice.
This is not a bit.
It's not a bit.
Denny's is great.
It's a great,
Go to
it's a
Denny's.
lovely establishment. Coffee a little expensive, I will say.
But you get all the coffee. You can have a
That's
pot
what
of
they
coffee.
get with our sponsorship. They get a little critique too, so they know what to change.
Just lucky enough.
Maybe price your coffee a little lower. You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you, sponsors.
Yeah.
All right, and join us next week when we discuss Easy Rider.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh yeah, you're right. Easy Rider. Yeah.
Oh, research says no.
Spartacus.
Spartacus.
That was last week. Was Easy Rider, I think. Yeah. Okay.
Should we try that again?
No, we're not. So say your name.
I'm Colleen.
And I'm Michael. And cut.